Can I try it without that? Can y'all hear me okay without the microphone? Thank you. I feel funny walking around with a microphone. My name's John Johnson. Let me tell you just a little bit about me. I have a master's degree in public administration. I have a bachelor's degree in criminal justice. I've been a sworn law enforcement officer for 34 years. 34 years. In addition to that, 6 years I spent in non-sworn positions. I have been a public servant my entire adult life. I graduated from 3 police academies. When I graduated from high school, I'm originally from Escambia County, by the way. I was born in Atmore Hospital. My parents lived in the north end of Escambia County, and Atmore was the closest hospital when it was time. So I happened to be born in Alabama. When I graduated high school in Oklahoma, I went to police academy out there. In 1982, I came home. My dad was in the Army. We traveled my whole life. I got to come home. Vince Seeley was the sheriff, and he hired me to work at the Escambia County Sheriff's Office. The best job I ever had was working at the Escambia County Sheriff's Office. I worked there for 9 years. I worked in patrol. I put on a uniform, and I took my happy self to Warrington, and I loved every day of my job because of the people that live in my home. I've been everywhere, but this was home. And I got to work in Warrington. I eventually wound up in narcotics and investigation. I stayed for 9 years, and then the government came along and offered me a job as a federal drug agent. I had 2 girls I raised as a single parent. None of them see her now. I was a corporal working at the Escambia County Sheriff's Office, making $22,000 a year, and I could not afford to send my children to college on $22,000 a year. So the Drug Enforcement Administration offered me a job, and I was hired as a special agent with DEA, working for the United States Department of Justice. My first boss on that job is sitting right over here with a gray jacket on. After I graduated from the Quantico Academy, I came back to Pensacola, and they decided to open an office in Pensacola. So I was blessed to stay in Pensacola. And from here, I worked significant, high priority, long-term conspiracy investigations all over the United States, including right here. If you lived here in 2003, you may remember a thing called Operation Sandshake. It was on the front page of the newspaper for over 50 days, above the fold. That was my work. If you remember, the News Journal published an entire 85-page wiretap affidavit in the newspaper. First time ever. If you look at the bottom, it's got my name on it. That's the kind of work that I did for this community and for this country. I want you to know that I teach Sunday school. I coach a church softball team. I volunteer in the public school system. I read to little children because I love it. I wish we had time to talk about the pipeline to prison, school to prison pipeline, because it's something I feel very strongly about. We need to teach children to read. Several years ago, I won an award as the Volunteer of the Year for the Escambia County Schools. And I'm very proud of that. So who's timekeeping? Somebody? How much have I got? I'm sorry? I hope that you'll ask questions. I look forward to answering your questions, and I thank you for your time.